Loneliness, silence, anxiety. Too many men are carrying it alone. I'm Jack Starr, powerlifter, personal trainer, aerialist, and ex-private investigator, and this is The Other Side of Tough. We're rewriting manhood one conversation at a time, and today I have my guest, Ryan, who's a former North American powerlifting champion, has set all types of records. He's now practicing Muay Thai. He's from Canada. And he's been on many podcasts with me where we've discussed masculinity before. So it's great to have you on the show. My good friend Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jack. It's been, the holidays were fun and family time and all that sort of stuff. And as soon as I get over every seasonal kind of affliction that everyone gets at this time of year, I'm looking forward to 2026 to, achieve goals, set some new ones, and have a banner year. So I don't mind this time of year. It's the get on the horse and go time, right?
It is. It's literally the year of the horse. So it's all about production and getting that fire going. Um, one thing about you, Ryan, is that when I first started my fitness journey, way back in like 2017, 2018, what I did personally, because I was, getting in my late 30s, early 40s, was I would mirror the people who I looked up to. I would find people who are in the fitness industry and they are my age, and I would see people that I want to look like, to be able to achieve the things they achieve. And I remember you specifically because I would see you in the Facebook groups and the Facebook forums, and I saw you win the North American Championship, and I was like, this guy is doing what I want to do at, his age, at my age. And so you've been a great inspiration to me. And then we started doing podcasts together, and it's been a great thing. So tell me a little bit about how you started, getting into weightlifting and getting into physical activity. I mean, I know for myself, I didn't get started until my 30s, until I saw, how much of a detrimental effect it has, especially in older age when you don't eat well and you don't stay active. What inspired you to get in the weight room and start breaking records and start lifting heavy weight and being active?
It was the most humble of beginnings and a lot of luck and embracing the randomness of the universe.
Mm.
I have no it started originally. I was really, really fat in my late 20s and early 30s and out of shape. I was out of college. I was doing well in my career. My career was on an uptick. All of that. I have nothing bad to report there, but it was coming at the cost of my wellness and fitness. It was full-time grind. And then that included, because I was in sort of the sales and business and finance world, that sort of meant whining and dining and golf and drinking and eating poorly and 60-hour weeks as I was building my career up. And I had this moment where I was 33 years old. And I was getting ready to go to a business meeting. I'm in a hotel, like it's a conference kind of setting. And I couldn't bend over and tie my shoelaces. So that was it. And I was like, holy shit. I can't, here I am, this successful guy on the way to this big meeting. And I can't, I'm sweating and my face is all red and I can't reach over, running out of breath.
Wow.
To tie the shoes, like just that big potbelly kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was like I was close to 300 pounds. It wasn't like my 600-pound lifestyle, but it was, I was getting close to 300 pounds. I'm not overly tall. So it was, I was pretty thick around the middle.
Yeah.
And it was going to that business meeting there with my shoes untied, had to tuck the laces in. Mm-hmm. And that was the moment my fitness journey, career, everything started, like totally filled with shame. Nobody knew, probably. You're not going to look down at a guy's shoes in a nice suit and notice that the laces are tucked into the shoes, right?
Yeah.
But I knew. And so the next morning after that, it was, I walked on the treadmill in that hotel for 20 minutes and I was gassed out. So that was the start of my fitness journey, was right there. And what I did then was I applied my business goal setting to it. I'm like, okay, how would I do this at work? How would I do this as a business plan? I'm like, okay, I got to lose weight. I got to do this. I got to do that. And started going to the gym with no clue, nothing but YouTube, to like practice movements or anything, and just bought a gym membership and actually stuck to it. I guess that's the magic pill, or my superpower, was consistency there. So that was the start, just the most humblest of beginnings.
Excellent. And like I feel, you're breaking out into Muay Thai now, and you're, doing a lot of other ventures. And I'm kind of like doing the same thing with my aerial work. And one thing that I found is, having that basis of weightlifting, of, learning the discipline of weightlifting, of training like that, it really allows you to open the doors to anything physically that you normally wouldn't be able to do. You'd normally be like, oh, I don't have the flexibility or the agility to do that. But I feel like with weightlifting, at least for me, it's given me that at least base to really succeed in other physical ventures. Do you think that your weightlifting training and powerlifting training has translated into Muay Thai, or has it been more of a detriment?
It's both. It has
Okay.
translated in and been an absolute detriment. Being overly muscled, overly stiff. Imagine when I'm yelling at you, if we're at a squat rack, I'm going to yell, stay tight,
Yeah, yeah.
as that lift goes up. Guess what exactly you're not supposed to do trying to do a round kick on somebody? It's how loose can you be? So I went from 13 or 15 years of coaches yelling at me, stay tight, to now 2 years and a change of coaches yelling at me, stay loose.
Yeah.
I was very stiff, totally immobile. I dedicated myself to those 3 lifts. Like, I was all powerlifting competition, so it wasn't necessarily even being a generic gym bro. So that part of it was the detriment. I am physically stronger, even after losing a couple weight classes now, than anyone else that's my size. I could still go to a commercial gym and grip and rip some lifts that would make people go, holy shit, for a guy my age, kind of thing. So that's still good. I'm still in there. So that was the negative side. But the positive side was the fact that I know how to train, live, recover, eat, take a new physical toll at a hobby. Like, I went right from full-time competition lifting to fully training Muay Thai 20 hours a week kind of thing. And I know nothing of knew nothing of the sport, but I knew how to eat. I knew how to rest. I knew how to go, okay, if I do this here, do that. Like, just like any person who's serious at the gym would know about training, dedication, discipline, all of that. So that translated beautifully. So, like, the habits and the lifestyle went right over. And eventually, when I know what I'm doing, for real in Muay Thai, being physically stronger will eventually help. But at the beginning, I should have done more mobility, let's say.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I've been learning it, like just doing my aerial stuff. And like you said, it's like, for me, it's like not holding my breath in, because, when you do like a big lift, you're like keeping all that air and you're containing all that air in. But if you're up like a lira, a hoop, and you're holding all that in, you're going to get gassed out in like 30 seconds and you're like kaput. So I'm sure
that is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's awesome that you're branching out into it. And one thing that I find is that men in their 40s, they think that that's it. They're not like us in that we're continuing to push ourselves physically, finding new things, challenging ourselves with new things. A lot of men in their 40s are under like I think the false uh, you know, the false thing that your physicality ends like when you're in your 30s. You hit your peak in your 20s, and in your 30s you're done. But what I found, at least within myself, is that I've never been in better shape or stronger than I have been in my 40s. And I think it's partially like the discipline and everything like that, but it's also the maturity, and the confidence that you gain in older age, that you can really excel in physical activities. My question to you is, why do you think, or what do you think is contributing to so many men thinking that their physical peak is done at like the 20s or 30s? Is it like an old thing that we're kind of passed on by our parents? Is it bad science? Or is it just, a mentality problem that, modern man has?
I want to say because yes, we're both very physically active, fit, top 1 percentile of everything for guys our age.
Hmm.
And we're normal, regular guys, and we did it. So shows it can be done.
Yeah.
I think it is 1,000% a mental block and or a mindset problem.
Hmm.
Now, going back to like year one, psychology 101 university, isn't it the experiment with the shock floor and the dog
Yeah.
where it's the negative reinforcement all the time and then it just lies there and dies, right? Or sit there, it won't go step out onto the floor or whatever. That very specifically learned helplessness. Boom, that experiment.
Mm.
That's, I think, what it is. They haven't pushed themselves in a long time. They were concerned with their families or other things, legitimate pursuits. Absolutely. You take some W's, you take a lot of L's in life, and then you learn, which is that we all did. Everyone does. That's life. But
Hmm.
and then you get that beaten down. You don't want to go through that first 2 shitty weeks of a new hobby because you think you're going to take the L. You know what I mean? Like it's really a mindset because it's instant gratification culture. We've been coddled. Everything's okay. Oh, it's okay. This, that. Oh, it's okay to fail. Oh, it's okay to, give up on things. Oh, just find the next passion in life. Oh, just, that kind of stuff. I think it's purely mental. And the second someone gets over it and just does whatever they set their goal to, like actually wakes up on a Tuesday morning and does it, whatever
Yeah.
that is in their life and their goals, they can break through it if they keep going at it. And then all of a sudden, the world's your oyster. You or I try a new venture, we know it's going to go reasonably well. We know there's going to be W's, we know there's going to be L's, but we know we're going to go head first and we're going to do and we're going to succeed. That becomes just part of it
Yeah.
because we're fit or because we, battled these things and achieved something. And then you take most guys in their 20s and 30s now that, this is no slight, this is no generational anything, because I felt the same way when I was then. So it's all right.
Hmm.
You take too many L's and it's in here. And the second you open that up, who cares? You can be the fittest, you can be at 50, you can get that business venture, all of that stuff. It's really the mindset.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that completely. And I think another thing too is, when you get older, you have to train differently because you are more susceptible to injuries. But a lot of people think that injuries are the end of a road. Like if you have like a slight bulging disc or something like that, a lot of older people will be like, "Oh, well, that's it. My back's broken." And like they always use it as an excuse. They're like, I used to lift that much, but I have like a degenerated disc, and it's like I just can't do that anymore. And it's like how much have both of us lifted with so many degenerated discs, and that's all I hear about from lifters is how many degenerated discs you have. And I actually took like a back seminar, a little online back seminar from like people that are experts in like spinal degeneration, and they said that spinal degeneration are like wrinkles. It happens to everyone, and the worst thing you can do is when you have that degeneration is to stop being active. Like the best thing you can do is strengthen everything around that, and continue being active, because once you stop being active, the degeneration gets worse and you become weaker, and more immobile in the end. So I think that's like a major like brick wall that a lot of older people hit, is that they think that an injury or something like that is a sign for them to stop, that they've gotten too old, and that and they don't understand that a lot of times these injuries can be worked through, and it's proven time and time again, especially with power lifters. And I think that's why we have such advanced knowledge, is because we know that's the game with powerlifting, right? It's not necessarily how much you can lift as quickly as possible. It's how long you can stay in the game and get through these injuries and injury recovery. I mean, I think like that's a major part of powerlifting, and at least that's helped me take on other ventures and stay physically active, because I know that any little slight injury isn't the end of the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. That's a lot of people. I work in a big workplace, and I see a lot of people, big lunchrooms, like talking to people. A lot of people there my age, and I hear that same kind of thing. I did this, I did that, and oh, my leg hurts, and oh, my knee hurts, and oh, my back hurts. And I talk about these kinds of subjects quite a bit because they know I'm the athletic one. They know I was competing. They know now it's this new venture in martial arts or combat sports at an advanced age, right? And the funniest thing is that is exactly it. You have to work through them. Atrophy is the worst thing you can do to your body as a human being, as an animal, as anything. If you hurt your leg, all right, start doing something with your upper body. You hurt your arm, guess what? Go walking, you go swimming, do this, do like pivot, figure it out, move, right? Like regardless. And I'm not saying if you hurt your back, you go start deadlifting 500 pounds. You hurt your back, guess what? Next day you're out walking 5K. Like do something you can do, but keep moving, right? But the funniest thing when I have these conversations is people ask me, like, doesn't everything hurt and all these injuries you've had? Because I've been working at the same workplace for a long time, same lunchrooms. I've been hospitalized, surgeries, all, like that. And like, how do you feel now? And I'm like, my body's falling apart. And it totally is. And this is just funny. Like, don't take this as, oh no, don't, because your body's going to fall apart. My body is falling apart at no different a rate than talking to the other 50-year-old people at my work who may be sedentary. That's the ironic twist.
Yeah.
Is I'm like, well, how do you feel on every day? Oh, my back hurts. Oh, my leg. Oh, funny. You sneeze. You see all those memes. You sleep on the couch wrong. Your back's out for 2 days. Like, oh, that happens to me just the same. And I'm in the same level of discomfort they are as any guy who's 50 or late 40s or 50, right? Yeah. But the difference being is that I can run, I can jump, I can go rounds of Muay Thai, I can bench press 225, I can do all these go for a 5K run, I'm training for a 10K race. I do all of these things in the same amount, exact relative physical discomfort of anyone my age. So why not be a savage? If you're going to have the same sort of aches and pains that are exactly the same for whatever demographic you are, go train and be a savage, all right? And that's sort of how I view it. And then that's what needs to flip. That, you're going to get injured. You go golf, you're going to twist something. You're curling, you're going to fall on the ice. Like even whatever level of sport or physical activity, guess what? You'll eventually be hurt. You'll eventually be injured. And then you got to keep doing, pick something else, pivot, but you keep going, right? But the ironic twist that is if I sat on a couch all the time and did absolutely nothing, my back and knee and whatever else would hurt just the same seems to be the funny part there. So go out, whoever's listening to this or watching, and go hit the gym or go do something active. You'll be tenfold better for it.
And I think it'll add years to your life too, and it's like what you suffer now will prevent the suffering you'll feel when you're an 80 and you haven't put in the physical work to strengthen yourself, because when you hit like 80 or 90 and you're delicate and you have to have hip surgery or you have to have knee surgery, I mean, doctors call that a death sentence a lot of times. If it's with people that are above a certain age, they're like, that hip surgery, that knee surgery, it's a death sentence. If it doesn't kill you now, it's gonna like come around and, it's gonna kill you later. So, I mean, I feel like, at least for myself, it's, best to push myself through this pain while I can and, be as physically strong and fortify my body as much as possible. So, I can sit down on a toilet and I can, like you said, tie my shoe when I hit, those delicate ages of like 80 or, whatnot. And it definitely adds years and makes you more independent too. So your loved ones don't have to, count on taking care of you as much as you get older. I mean, I think these are like the things we think of once we hit the 40s and stuff like that. We think about exercise, less about, what immediate gains we can get and more about long-term, how we can live longer, better lives. And I think that's where the maturity kicks in, especially when you get older and you pursue physical activities like we do. Definitely.
Yeah, that's I should have brought that up in the first one. Yeah, that's the biggest preventable disease ever in history, or you can work on it, is sarcopenia. That's the age-related wasting, right? Like that's what getting old is from a physical standpoint. That's what that's called. for the science folks out there, myself, when I'm Googling stuff or falling down YouTube rabbit holes, right? And that's exactly it. I want to be 80 years old and be able to walk down the street, go grocery shopping, and open a pickle jar, right? That's what working out now is for everybody. Like, I agree 1,000%. And that's part of just and you're gonna get hurt along the way. I just totally agree on that one there, Jack.
Yeah. I mean, I saw this commercial. It was like I think it was like a Norwegian commercial, but it showed this old man, and he was going through Christmas, and like I think it starts off where he's like trying to lift his kid and he can't lift his kid, and he was like, and so like you see him progress through the year, and he starts taking a kettlebell and he starts doing like simple exercises with it, and then the next Christmas comes along and he like picks up his kid. And I don't know why. I mean, I might have been going through some PMS or something, but I got emotional on that commercial. I was like, oh man, a little bit of a tear filled the eye on that, because that's what we're training for. That's what we should be fighting for. Is to be able to like do those things that are so important. Towards end of life. So, me and you usually have conversations about, we've had, like, usually I ask my guests on this show, what's wrong with manhood? What are challenges that men face with masculinity and that sort of thing? But you and me have discussed this to the moon and back. We've been on like, I don't know, over 8 podcasts together, I think. And we've discussed this. So I want to flip the script. And today I want to talk to you or ask you, what do you think is wrong with or what challenges women face? And what do you think, how do you think women contribute to this quote unquote crisis that we're having in masculinity and manhood?
Wow. Uh-oh.
I know, right? That's gonna get you in trouble.
Oh boy, the married man, the happily married man here on this one. I'm going to say a lot of the same things, but of course with every different action, there's a different reaction, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to say a lot of the same things. Instant gratification culture, social media culture, no attention spans, no patience, no like that affects both sexes, genders, across the spectrum equally, all those kinds of things, echo chambers, algorithms, all of those same things are across the board effects. And then where I see it coming on that sort of gender norm section with women and how it relates to masculinity is, it was a patriarchal society forever. Then there's some rebounds. Then there's some, like I'm talking, up to the 50s, then the 60s, then the 70s, all these different swing arounds. And men were the good guys for a long time and were the bad guys for a long time, back and forth, right? Yeah. We all know that's happened pop culture in the zeitgeists and everything like that. And it's been after a decade of pop culture saying, or 20 years of this is how we want masculinity and toxic masculinity and these things are bad, these things are this. We want to do this, we want to do this, we want it this way, which is still just the pendulum swinging back and forth over the years, yeah. Right? It was a case of you got what you wish for. Right. And then now you see in the zeitgeist and pop culture, where have all the real men gone? Oh, where's, liberal women want to date conservative men and, like all these sorts of, and it's just the pendulum swinging and the zeitgeist and social media swirling everything around worldwide on a 24/7 news cycle and pop culture clickety click. Right. It seems to be that. And then everyone having a complete and utter freaking allergic reaction to accountability. And I'm going to speak pop culture. I'm going to speak TikTok. I'm going to speak out there. And of course, on the individual, women seem to have a serious accountability phobia. And whether that's in social media culture and stuff. So that, like, they wanted men to be soft and have man buns and cry and be, the sensitive guy and all these toxic masculinity. Sports is bad. Working out's bad. Being tough guy is bad. All this. then
Yeah.
now that's the norm for men in pop culture, and it's where have all the real men gone, right? Like that, and then and having that attitude out there of wanting 1,000% equality, and then still wanting to have the door open for them, the guy to pay, all this stuff. Like it's got to sort itself out, and I don't think it's women's fault or men's fault. It's that pendulum moving back and forth in Western culture.
I think that's
But I would go with accountability is a problem, and then getting what they wish for. That's what an old-fashioned man view on women and femininity now are like in the zeitgeist.
Mm-hmm. I think that's, I think that's some great insight. Accountability is a problem across the board in modern society. I think we've entered into a culture and a society where we try to tiptoe and get around accountability, and we've created generations of narcissists, and we haven't even realized it. One thing that I think is what has caused this divide. You're talking about the pendulum swinging back and forth. And one thing that's not happening between these two sides is that we're not listening to each other. We're not listening to, the men who say, they have these problems with, this feeling of loneliness, of emptiness, of not being able to, have this fulfillment. And then women, with their expectations, we're not listening to them and what they feel. And one thing that I've tried to do with this podcast is to get both sides, of this issue, and to see, where we can meet. And it's surprising. Whenever I talk to a woman about like what's the problem with masculinity, they tell me they don't think there is a problem with masculinity. They are actually very supportive of men, and they realize, the struggles that men have gone to. And like, I think if we talk to everyday women and women talk to everyday men, that we would find that we are so much closer to coming up to, a solution. But I feel like it's society that really divides it. It's really like, the stuff you see on social media, on TV, it's like all men are, garbage, or, all women are, I'm not putting this out there, but all women are whores, or all women are promiscuous. And so you have men, you have this perception of like this war that's not really happening with, the common woman and man, but society is really pouring fuel on it. And it really makes you question, why does society or culture want men and women to be so divided? Why do you think that's the reason?
I don't think that society or anybody or anything wants anybody together or divided or apart or anything.
Okay.
Right. What I think I exist, I think it's there and it's out there and there's divisions and that's the problem. Yep. And all that. But I don't think
like
that society has a want any which way to have it any which way. Think of it as like totally neutral. It just flows the way it flows, right? Based on whatever factors are happening in the culture at the time, right? What I think is causing it, though, absolute division and all the things you just described, is algorithm culture.
Okay.
You see your own echo chamber because that's what you type in and that's what you click like to, and then and then you see more of it, and then you see more of it. Like, do an experiment with yourself. Watch a bunch of videos on one topic on YouTube or Instagram or something. Then that's going to be all you're fed. So if you're looking at articles or looking, why are men and women divided? Why are men and women divided? You are going to get nothing other than men and women divided. Just beamed into you, like your eyes are held open in that chair, in that science fiction kind of, that old rock video there with the wind blowing you back. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So that's what you think the world is.
Mm-hmm.
Until you go out to a walk around your town, leave your phone at home, and see that, people are pretty regular. But do you see what I mean? Do you see that subtle difference there? I think what you're happening is happening, absolutely. And I think it would be, if it's that echo chamber of life, because everyone stares into their phone.
Yeah.
Causing the division.
Why do you think that algorithm, do you think it's just like a dopamine hit, or do you think what do you think promotes the algorithm to promote the most extreme views of either side, like it, because it really feels like these toxic masculine people are the ones that have the loudest voices in social media and that sort of thing, and it feels like the same with women on social media. It's kind of
Mhm.
like F all men, men are good for nothing, they're all like
Because
abusive.
that's what their world is. They're
Hmm.
telling the truth. They're telling their truth
Yeah.
because that is all they see on the inside of their phone. They don't go outside or talk to regular people, or they bring that out there. You're right. Like that's what people is happening,
Yeah.
right? I think I agree, and it's the but yeah, that's I don't think. Sorry, phrase the question again. I had it and lost
But I
it.
just think, why is it the loudest? Why are these toxic voices?
Okay, yeah, sorry. I totally okay.
Yeah,
Because the algorithm and ad dollars and internet culture, social media, and all that is not an altruistic thing. It's a for-profit enterprise. It's put on
yeah.
by private companies to make money. We all realize this. We all know this on some level, right? The
Okay.
most extreme voices who provide the best dopamine hits in any direction get the most likes, clicks, and follows, therefore the most ad views. So if I am loud and obnoxious and a male chauvinist, big pig, I'm going to get haters. I'm going to get pros. I'm going to get advertisers on that. I'm going to get dislike, 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 but that's still heating the algorithm. If I put cat videos out there because people love a cat video, it gets a dopamine hit. They go hit like, hit like, hit like, right? So it can be a negative, it can be a positive, but it can't be in the middle because people see something in the middle, regardless of any subject, and scroll by.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever it is, like you can just change your whole outlook if you're some like phone addicted person by just clicking cat videos for 20 minutes, and then you'll change your positivity feed for a while. But it's all still the dopamine hit of whichever direction is also tied to ad revenue. That's what people sort of forget, that social media is not this for the good enterprise. It is a for-profit business,
Yeah.
right?
That's like, I think that's the problem too. And I think, like we've discussed before, is, one problem with masculinity and manhood in general is that we're not creating real communities. We have these social media communities and these, other type of communities that aren't necessarily good for men and that aren't necessarily, providing the most enlightening, strengthening, foundation for men. Instead, they're, promoting these like toxic ideals for men. And I don't think like men, like, I mean, I think that's like the great thing about you doing Muay Thai is that you're actually, bonding with men by like beating the shit out of each other, right? For hours on,
Yeah.
and you're developing real connections with people. And I think that that's something that, within the AI and the internet age that has really been lost and has kind of like taken, um, has kind of destroyed the foundation of what, being a man is about, which is being strong, which is being a protector. It's not being about violence or anything like that, but having the capability of violence to protect those you love. But instead, like the true strength of having that violence is showing kindness and gentleness and love in spite of having that capability. And I think a lot of that's lost with men, and the internet and stuff really doesn't value things like emotional regulation, being stable and strong, and stoic in a lot of ways, being able to control yourself. It's all about the uncontrollable, about, making big noise. And that's not necessarily in the best way. Um, you said you're married. What were the qualities that you found in your wife? Because we're talking about like negative qualities of women. What were the positive qualities or like little check marks that really checked off with your wife that you guys, decided to get married and have been together for so long?
I think originally, because it's funny because it goes from now almost when we were young to now that we're middle aged. So
Yeah.
different things along the years. It's hard to go back to the beginning on where we've grown and evolved together
Yeah.
over this many years, right? In the beginning, it was that she had fun. She was smart. She was fiscally motivated. I don't mean like gold digging or money grubbing. I mean, she had an interest in having her finances right. Was as you know, because I was in my 30s at that point. This wasn't young love for me kind of thing. It was like, okay, for look, and things you look for in a partner, is that she had her finances goal set and was tight that way, and fun loving and smart, like absolutely all those sorts of things. But it was she had herself together was what one of the big original things, because I'm so practical in so many ways like that in my job in finance and business and like certain things like that. But had fun. And then the other one, which was unique to us, and at a certain point you want to think like this is going to maybe get some hate out there for this one, was that neither of us had kids, massive exes, or nor did we want kids. So to find someone in your 30s with no baggage, for both of us was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
yeah.
I know. I go on.
Yeah.
I was on the dating sites for a while, and it's like there are so many single mothers, and like I'm not knocking single mothers at all, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to knock anybody, but
no,
she had no crazy exes and no baby's daddies, and I had no baby mamas, and I had no crazy exes, right? And to find that,
yeah,
at like a later age was even more miraculous, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel you. And no shade to anybody, but it was a definite like check mark.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not expected to be like some other kid's daddy or something like that, and it's like
Yeah.
like especially it's like a single guy who doesn't have kids, like that's not what we want to be thrown in right away, like maybe the possibility in the future, but we don't want to be thrown in that and have that be the criteria for being a mate. So you talked about what like you found that really like attracted you to your wife when you first started, but how, like, so what positive traits do you see now that have evolved from you guys being together for so long? What do you're talking about your relationship has evolved, so what are some of the positive traits that you've seen evolve from her with your what do you hold sacred about her now that you guys have been married, for a few years?
It's the same traits. It was the fun loving, the smart, the fiscal, the goal setting. We truly, where it is now, is that we are truly partners and equals in each other's lives and helping the other person achieve their goals and setting goals for ourselves still even now, financial goals, travel goals, fitness goals, and keeping each other accountable and working towards something better for both of us. Like, we realize now that we're greater than the sum of our parts, and we would not have achieved, either of us, what we've achieved in our lives without the support of the other person as a team, pushing the ship forward. Right? Like, that's where it's grown and blossomed. And I would not be here with the things I've done and won those medals and be in the house I'm in, looking at the view I'm looking at, in the career job I'm in, and the bank account balance that I have, if it wasn't for her and our partnership. And I know she feels the same, looking out. Like, I'm just, not to humble brag, I'm on waterfront property right now. I could turn my phone around. And I grew up with nothing. So like, this is, both of us started with debts and nothing and student loans, and now we're sitting in a nice house in a nice part of Canada with nice cars and like educations, and all of that was because we pushed each other and goal set and like grew together, as that was the plan. Right. So that's where it grew and blossomed. And it's still the fun loving person that, I fell in love with back then. And I'm still Mr. Grumpy Pants, old fashioned, you know what I mean? Like, man, a few words guy.
Yeah.
Right. And it's worked out that way. That's our yin and yang as well. She is full of life and is gregarious and outgoing and all of that. And I am dead inside. We joke about our Tin Man. So it also works out that way.
Yeah, and that's great when you have someone like that, that like, if you can be the rock and you can be stable, and maybe, you weren't great in social situations and you have a partner who is, that's where that partnership becomes really special. And, I'm single, but one thing that, I found that I really appreciate about women is, just having just the level of support they can really give you, and the nurturing. Like it's, when I was married, it was great when I had my wife with me on my powerlifting meets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew that, like, all the like, I knew with my coach, all my shit for the powerlifting meet was going to be taken care of. And I knew when I had my wife that everything in the personal front, like dealing with me being, very, very bitchy, and me, having my food ready, and, doing that and being supportive and screaming and cheering for me, I knew that was taken care of. So, it really is great. And I do, like, as a single man, I do miss that when I go into competitions, and that sort of thing, is to have that level of support. And I think that's like one really positive attribute about women, is that they can offer a man support, like, like no other. And I think that's, one of the beautiful things about women, is when you find a woman that's loyal, and, that wants to see you succeed, that wants to be there for you to succeed, and is not, has been there with you from the beginning. Because there's a lot of women out there that, they just want you to succeed, and they just want to be there for your success. But once your downfall happens, they cut out and go. But if you meet someone when you're at your bottom, and you raise up, and they follow you through that success, and they cheer you on through the success, you have a winner. So it sounds like you have a great partner in that aspect. One thing that I always do with all my guests is say one thing that I appreciate about them. And one thing that I appreciate about you, Ryan, is not only your honesty, because, like, you always, like, keep me in check, and we always have some, like, great debates or whatever. Um, it's just that you are always giving back. I remember, even knowing you from the Facebook forums way back. You probably didn't know me, but I knew you, and I recognized you, and I would always see you helping people out, giving people advice. And I think that's, a great attribute of a great man, is that when they succeed, they go ahead and they put the ladder down for everyone else to climb up, and they don't try to just burn the bridge and just, fuck everyone else. I'm doing my own. So I appreciate that about you. And you've inspired me on my powerlifting journey, and even my, physical transformation throughout my years, and, like, my 40s and going through, because I saw that you could do it, and I was like, I can do it also. So those are some things that I appreciate. And I don't know if you know that, but you're helping out people, and you might not even realize it through, your actions, and giving back to, the community, whether it's the lifting community or whatever.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that so much. It's what I was trying to do the whole time. I did everything wrong and fucked everything up and figured it all out on my own with nothing. And it's what I try and strive to do, is do that for other men, to be that piece of advice or whatever it is, whether it's, at the gym or business or anything, to just help someone out, because it's nice to just be the man you needed at whatever time that you wished you needed that help. So when I see something out there, someone comes to me, regardless of what it is, if I have experience in it or I don't, it's like, hey, here's my take, or here's some things to do, because I consider myself the most regular everyman ever. And I know I've accomplished some pretty crazy shit. And I don't know how I did it, other than I'm totally a regular dude. And anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. And my overwhelming confidence and belief that anyone can do a lot amazing things in whatever it is they want. It doesn't have to be lifting. It could be chess. It could be anything. It could be business. It could be painting. Human beings can achieve anything, and just trying to help them, trying to achieve something, and because it just, yeah, I'm just trying to set that example, and hopefully everyone pays it forward, right? So thank you, and it just means a lot. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah. And going with that, it's like when you achieve like that one simple thing, it gives you the confidence to go into the next venture. Um,
Hmm.
and speaking of which, when is your smoker? When is your first, is it a smoker? Or is it an actual Muay Thai competition? Like a,
Okay, it's
or,
so far tentatively, I have been giving the blessing
okay.
to step into the ring September 26th of this year,
Wow.
for a smoker fight.
Okay.
So in the Muay Thai world, a smoker fight, I'm going to use powerlifting terms for you real quick, is like a local gym meet, man. All the gyms in town or all the gyms in an area get together and throw a meet up and see who's the strongest guy. It
Okay.
is absolute, total amateur, totally kind of parking lot wrestling. It's $20 a ticket, so it's not like it's just informal. It's a
Yeah.
ring, it's announcing, it's right. But let's say the absolute lowest level of competition in the sport of Muay Thai, and that is no, like, I am so looking forward to. But why I say tentatively or whatnot is that's a long time from now. A lot of things can go wrong. Can I get a fight? Do I break my toe? Do what? Like, just like it's that's a long time.
Yeah.
And can I find the appropriate opponent and things, or like be it found for me and all of that. But I have been giving the blessing from my coach now. So September 26th, I've ramped up the training and the cardio, complete paradigm from powerlifting. So it's 4 days. If I could keep it up with recovery and all that, it's 4 days of Muay Thai a week, 5 days the next, 4 days, 5 days, 4 days, 5 days, for 9 months, maybe a 2 or 3 week fight camp, as well as much cardio as I could possibly do first thing in the morning. Like, I'm running 5Ks. I'm signed up for a 10K race coming up in April. And my idea of cardio was walking to my car to walk to the squat rack to squat 650 pounds. That was my, for so long. So that's how much of a switch it is. And yeah, so September 26th, hopefully I get in the ring for a smoker fight with just sort of local club level, and bang with some guy.
That's awesome, man. Like
from
live.
from my first ever not knowing what combat sport was, for New Year's resolution 2024.
That's
So it will be, yeah, this is, look at what I'm doing in Muay Thai. So from New Year's Eve resolution to an amateur competition or whatever, like I did in powerlifting once upon a time. I lifted my first weight at 33. My first meet was 37. I've done the same thing on just the amateur fun inter club level of Muay Thai from zero to this in 2.5 years. And then after that, I'm just loving the Muay Thai journey, keep at it. And then when the next goal hits, I'm pretty sure no matter what age I am or whatever, it's going to be okay. Now okay, how do I go to nationals in it? Or how do I find it? If it's golf or curling or cardio or ultra marathons, like, it'll be the next thing. But it's been fantastic.
Yeah, sky's the limit. Has so I'm sure your weight training has drastically changed now, doing that. Is it more like hypertrophy, or do you do less weight sessions? How do you regulate that? How do you keep the strength up, but not do too much so you're not like impeding on your skills as a Muay Thai fighter?
Okay, so this is going to make you blow your mind or sound crazy to everyone that's known me for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't weight train anymore.
Okay.
Zero.
Wow.
So what it has been calisthenics, push-ups, sit-ups, things like of that nature. You know what I mean? Like that, sit-ups, pull-ups, push-ups, all of that kind of stuff only. Cardio, in a calorie deficit. I've lost 50 pounds since my last meet in 2023. So it has been, since when I trained for that, I went to a fight camp experience in Poland last year. 12 weeks before that's when I stopped weight training, was to very hyper focus on what is required for this sport to make a half-assed effort at the low levels to try and compete in it. Mm-hmm. Worked out a little bit when I got back from Poland, and now it's back to the next 9 months. Will be only 100% to get slimmer, cardio fitter, fight fitter, and more like only Muay Thai. To represent my gym and myself the best in that 3-minute rounds. Weight training doesn't need to be part of that. Will I lift weights again? Yes. Am I doing push-ups and sit-ups and all that? So like, I'm not atrophying or, by any means slipping up in my overall physical fitness. but it's, I mean, if anything, getting vastly fitter. But there hasn't been any in the gym weight training.
Okay. Okay. Do you think you'll ever go back to competing in powerlifting? Do you think you'll?
Oh, I keep having this like way in the back of my mind. Like my last powerlifting meet, why I switched to combat sports was my last meet after competing for however many years was the very first one where I finished behind my Wilks dots or IPF points of the previous meet. I had stepped up in competition every single meet I ever did in my entire career and improved my Wilks or powerlifting. For all the powerlifting nerds out there, I improved my pound for pound score every single meet until the last one. And then that's why I stopped. So I had to accept the inevitable decline at that point. I was 46 years old. So like, you know what I mean? Like no more PRs. I probably don't have an all-time PR in me anymore ever.
Yeah.
But so that's why I switched to something entirely different. And I recommend that for anybody. You'll have, when you first signed up for your first meet, Jack, you knew there had to be a last.
Yep.
Right. And it's not bad and it's growth and it's expanding as a human and everything. But yes, I had this little inkling of coming back in the under 200-pound weight classes for an over 50 meet and see in like the 83s or the 90 kilos, because I competed from 100 to 120 kilos in powerlifting. So as a big, beefy, barrel monster man, to come back lean and try a meet that way for a Wilks score, or in the Masters 2 or 3 or whatever they call it nowadays, for level of competition only. No more open shows, no more. If I do come back, it'll be, Masters only kind of thing, not trying to compare myself with the other guys. But there is that, absolutely, that's there. And I have just enough time if I block it out to, you know what I mean? Like, still pull it off after this smoker, still doing another year of Muay Thai, then a year to get in shape for that at 51 or whatever.
That's great, man. That's great. And I can't wait to, either see or hear about the smoker that you're going to do. I know you're going to do great. I know about your dedication and, how much effort and work you put into anything you do. So you're absolutely going to crush it.
Well, I hope so, and thank you. It's really, for me, what I love about it the most is the dedication and the goal. Mm-hmm. And I just want to accord myself well. So that meant losing 50 pounds. That meant doing all this cardio. Like, that meant like according myself. So when I'm in that ring, even if I get the tar beaten out of me, that I came in the best shape of my life and I did everything right. And see, so win or loss, it doesn't matter. That's what it is for me. It's the journey. It's dedicating to myself to something 20 hours a week, or a pursuit that is pure. It's not for money. It's not for anything, right? So that, the Muay Thai thing or whatever that should be, everyone needs, to go sight deep for a second, regardless of what it is, everyone needs a third place in life. You got work, you got home, and you need a third place that isn't the internet. And you got to give yourself to that third place, or 4 places, or you know what I mean? But you can't sit there like this all day. So whether that third place is the gym, whether it's church, whether it's chess club, whether it's, whatever that is, or it's Muay Thai, or it's combat sports, or it's karate, or, right?
Yeah.
Should do something in real life, everybody, to the best of your abilities that isn't work or isn't home. Right. And you will have such a richer life or cultural experience, talk to people, learn, grow, neuroplasticity, right? Like that's, and then don't be afraid to pivot and switch it once in a while. Like, I am loving this journey of something entirely starting from nothing and being slightly less than nothing now at it.
Yeah. It's quite the journey too. And I think that's like a great piece of advice for men in general is, to pivot, like to be able to pivot. Don't be like, powerlifting's my life. That's all I'm, that making things your identity is having those third and fourth place things. So when, like for me, like last year, my powerlifting went to hell because of my back. I pivoted over to aerial work, and that was something that I could do. And so, I think that's like really good and important advice for especially men that are getting older, is to being able to pivot. Do you have any other advice that you would like to end the show with to older men in their 40s, you know, going up. Do you have any sage piece of advice? It doesn't have to be about physicality. It can just be good life advice.
Honestly, if I had a superpower,
Mm-hmm.
it's consistency.
Yeah.
And that is something, you know, you're not 20 anymore. You're not 30. Like, okay, I'm 50 is staring down the barrel at a year and a half for me from right now, or whatever it is, right? Like, or 2 years, sorry, 2 years from now, I'm going to be 50 years old, right? Yes, I am in the shape of my life. Like all of these things are a positive, and the only thing that I did to get here was be consistent. And it doesn't matter if everyone should be fit, but everyone should also dedicate themselves to other things as well. Like I am dedicating myself to something that keeps me fit right now. But if I was dedicating myself to chess, you should still have a level of fitness. But what I mean is be consistent at whatever it is you do, and that you will achieve whatever it is you know are some good aims there or some good goals, right? So if it's fitness, if it's business, if it's work, if it's life, it is anything. It's just put in the effort every day. If you're lying to yourself about your effort level, do you think you're going to get it? No, like a little bit of grind, like a little bit of David Goggins, not running till your feet are broken or not doing that, right? But you have to get out there when it sucks, and you have to, you know, just get over that. And then next thing you know, it's every level of success is building on the next W, the next W. The world wants you to succeed. The universe wants you to succeed. Your spiritual leader wants you to succeed. Whatever is your structure wants you to better yourself, and your world around you and your algorithm and your every view you have of data set you take in will get better if you just are consistently trying to better yourself, like the tiniest little bit, by getting up and making your bed, or getting up and going for a walk, or not eating like shit that day, or let's go to the gym today, or let's go play ball with my bros at the park. Let's go, do you know what I mean? Let's go out and talk to real people. Do shit in real life consistently. That's important. Like, don't do that. You know, that's not a good thing to be consistent at. It's better to, you know, go outside, talk to people, and be consistent at it. And just like that's my secret to anybody wanting to achieve anything. Set a goal, be consistent, and do it in real life, though. And it will bleed into every little bit. Like, yeah, I'm some big jock. You and I, oh yeah, we can bench press this. It doesn't have to be those sorts of things. Any man can better himself. And then when a man betters himself, he's going to better everything around him just the same by espousing those values and those virtues, right? Like, I want to get better at this, so I'm going to focus. I'm going to suck up the hard parts. I'm going to embrace the shitty parts. I'm going to walk through the injuries. I'm going to be a goddamn man, and I'm going to get this goal done. Or I'm going to lose that 10 pounds, or I'm going to run that 5K, or I'm going to bench press 225 pounds. And you tell yourself that.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody likes when someone's a liar, right? So people out there lying to themselves, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and you don't. Your psyche's like, yeah, this guy's a bullshitter. Your own inner monologue is like, this guy's a bullshitter, right? So setting yourself up, just so be consistent and set a goal. That's like my magic sauce. And sometimes it's boring, and sometimes it takes patience and whatever, but it will just explode your life in any direction you want it to. Set a goal, set a plan, and be consistent the littlest step each day. And that is my life advice to anybody who will ever listen. I will scream that from the top of a mountain. It doesn't matter your goal. Set it, plan towards it, and actually take one step towards being a better man every single day. If it's reading a book, if it's going for a walk, you know, not eating like shit, you can find so many little W's out there that make everything better. And then if you think about that, like, if you want to help somebody, help yourself. If you think this guy, or you met this guy that's always a winner, he's making goals, he's trying his best all the time, he's doing the deal every day, aren't you going to want to be around that person?
Yeah.
Because they're probably going to be pretty positive, and they're going to be like pretty out there, pretty go-getter, pretty upbeat. Like, they're going to be excluding positive energy because they got that lift that day, or ran that extra K, or read that extra chapter of their, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is. So many people just do F all doom scrolling. Don't be that guy. Living vicariously through a doom scroll. Live through your own experience and then share it, and don't live through a doom scroll. Sorry, I was ranting, but I'm passionate about that, you
No,
know?
I think you're absolutely right. And like the reverse of that is don't surround yourself with people that aren't doing those actions, that aren't doing things, that are always, shitting on things and being like, oh, like I could do that, but it's like this and that.
Oh, I
Why?
stubbed my toe in 1996, so I
Yeah,
can't squat anymore. Like, how many times have we jokingly heard about that? I benched 405 in high school, but my shoulder hurt. Okay,
right.
so why aren't you a pro swimmer now then? Or why aren't you a marathon runner? You don't need to have a shoulder to marathon run. Like,
Yeah,
this one setback 30 years ago wrecked your life, bro? Like, you know,
yeah. And then like those people, it's like wading through water, and they're pulling at your legs, pulling you down with their own negative shit. So that's why I think it's so important to surround yourself with people that, do take action, that are winners. Because, simple actions, little actions still get results. But, like you said, doom scrolling or not doing anything or shitting on everything, that's just going to keep you at the bottom, and not doing anything at all. So that's some great advice. And, I appreciate you taking the time, being here with us. And, I hope one day, this is my wish, because I got to meet Norris in person. My wish is to meet you in person someday, my good friend from the north, from Canada. So hopefully, we'll have that opportunity one day. But I really appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to be on my podcast. And I'm wishing you all the success and all the, the benefits of this Muay Thai training. And I hope that, you crush your competition, man. I'm sure you will, because you have the heart and the dedication to do it.
Well, thanks, Jack. I appreciate you. And the same thing, it'd be a blast to get together for something, whether it's a meet or whether it's just a greet or it's a powerlifting meet or
Yeah.
it's a, something like that. I go see some aerial show you get in, or,
Yeah.
there's a Muay Thai event somewhere, like, or, you know what I mean? Or one of those weird things where it's like meet you in a bar in Thailand, buddy. Uh, like,
Fun.
absolutely. And I appreciate yourself as well, because you're always spreading positivity. You're out there doing it and talking about unique issues for masculinity in general. And the young guys need to see this sort of thing. The old guys need to see this sort of thing, and to be a little bit a part of it and just spread some positive male culture out there is something that more people need, because if they see the positivity, it'll be around them, it'll be in the algorithm, and it will be out there. And masculinity, males, guys out there everywhere need a little positivity more than they need negativity. Everyone does. So thanks for spreading the good vibes, Jack. And as always, man, I appreciate you. And I'm sure we'll see you soon, buddy, or whether it's digitally or hopefully in real life one day.
Awesome. I appreciate you. And with that, that's it for today's episode of The Other Side of Tough. I'm Jack Starr, reminding you that strength is found from the other side. Catch you on the next one. Thank you, Ryan.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Have a good one, buddy.